All right, I've been asked a million times, Justin, how do I avoid the copyright system? How do I get around the reused content demonetization, the dreaded reused content demonetization? How do I stop getting copyright claims on my videos? I'm gonna tell you exactly how you can avoid copyright claims on your videos, how to get around, how you can post videos without getting copyrighted, copyright strikes, copyright claims, whatever, and also how to get out of the reused content demonetization stuff, how to avoid it in the first place, and then also, if you did get hit with reused content, how to actually win the appeal, how to actually get out of that, okay? So, these are two very different things, right? Copyright and reused content are two very different things. People like to lump them in together, and I'm lumping them together in this video, but they're two separate things. So I'm gonna have to show you how to do them separately. I'm gonna show you how to do it all in this video. If you don't know who I am really quick and why I'm qualified to talk on this stuff, I make all of my money from the YouTube platform by basically reposting other people's videos, viral moments. I like to stick in the political debates, celebrity drama, celebrity news type stuff. I take other people's videos who have already gone viral. I add some commentary to it, either myself on a couple of channels, and I pay some other people to add commentary to my videos too on some other channels as well that I don't want to appear on or that I just don't have time to do. So that's what I do. And I don't have a singular channel that has gotten hit with reused content and didn't win the appeal. And I also don't have a single channel that has any copyright issues at all. Like, none of them have any copyright issues. And I'm gonna show you how I get away with that because I've been asked this like a million times. So let's start off with talking about copyright and how to get around the whole copyright claim stuff and actually make money from your YouTube videos. The one thing that YouTube says about copyright, I wish there was a more clear guideline. You know, I wish I could sit here and tell you, oh yeah, if you take somebody else's video and then you talk over it for X amount of minutes or X percentage of the video, then you're not gonna get hit with copyright problems. I really wish that was the case. That's not the case, unfortunately. The only thing that YouTube really says about avoiding copyright issues is that the videos have to be transformative, okay? That's all they say. Now, the problem with the phrase transformative is that can mean different things to each person. That can literally mean a different thing for me and you watching this video right now. It could also mean a different thing for the manual reviewers that are watching your videos. One manual reviewer could see it and they could be like, oh, that's very transformative. And then if a different person sees that same video, they could say, oh no, that's stolen content. That's not transformative enough. So it really sucks that that's the case, but I can't change the rules of YouTube. All we can do is understand the rules and play within them and use them to our advantage where we can. So how do we make sure that our content is transformative enough to where we can make money off of these YouTube videos? The number one way to do that, the way that I've done it for the last 3 years, the way that all of my students do it, and by the way, yeah, I've spawned a ton of, I don't know if I've said it in this video, but I've spawned a ton of channels. My own channels being Justin Reloaded's a big one that I built up and sold. Justin is Lost, Bring the Asteroid News. Well, I don't want to reveal that channel yet, but also like a lot of my clients' channels do the same exact strategy. Chris on Culture is one of them. Progressive Perspectives another. We have The Apostle, Yesterday's News. I've worked with Russell Brand. We worked with Charlie Kirk, Lauren Chen. Everybody is, you know, not to be cocky or anything, but everybody uses my strategies. Everybody wants this sauce. And those people who I listed off are people who are inside of my course and coaching program. Right? They're not just like random people that I talk to. They paid me money and I got them that result. And then I also got the result millions of times for myself. So that's why I'm decently qualified to explain this stuff to you. The number one way to avoid this copyright stuff is with commentary. Once again, I wish I could tell you, talk for X amount of time, talk for X percentage of the video and you'll be fine. But that's not the case. It's kind of like if you don't have somebody holding your hand through the process, like if I'm not there with you to say, you know, watch your video for you and say, nah, man, you got to talk a little bit more. It is going to come down to a trial and error thing. You're going to have to figure out how much you have to talk to avoid these copyright problems. You know, that's the downside of being new to something and not having a mentor, not having somebody by your side that's done it before. Unfortunately, that's just the case, but commentary is the best way to avoid this stuff. Now, another way that people underestimate so much, and I never see anybody talking about it, is being aware. I don't even know how to write this down, but like, just be aware of the content selection. So there's certain people, right? There's certain people who I know that if I take videos from, the odds of me getting copyrighted are very, very high. And it's such a nuanced thing as well. I'll give you a couple examples of what I'm talking about. So I know that if I post clips from Joe Rogan's podcast, I am going to get copyrighted, okay? Now, this is gonna be some crazy stuff. Just stick with me for a second, okay? This stuff goes so deep, and I'm trying not to confuse you, but I know that Joe Rogan has some sort of manager that goes in and manually copyright claims videos that they see in their YouTube dashboard. That's different from it being automatically copyrighted, like when I post a Bill Maher video, and as soon as I upload it, it gets automatically by the AI copyright claimed. By the way, I can show you how to get out of that too, the AI stuff in a second. But the reason why I'm even making that distinction is because the way you get around the manual claims that are being made by Joe Rogan or by whatever creator that you're taking the videos from, and the AI claims are completely different. So a way that you can get around the manual claims, and look, this is advanced, you don't have to do this when you first start out, is as long as you make the video. So like, I know that Joe Rogan's guy goes in, he claims at the end of every month. So if I make a video from Joe Rogan on the 3rd of the month, you know, YouTube finalizes their payouts on a certain date. So if let's say for example, I want to make a Joe Rogan video, I'm going to make it right after the guy goes in and does his claims. Let's say he does his claims on the 28th. I want to make a Joe Rogan video on the 29th. Now it has the 29th, 30th, 31st to make money. I'm still going to get paid out on the 21st of next month from that Joe Rogan video before the guy goes in and claims that video. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the comments, please. So once again, let me just explain that really quickly. And you don't have to do stuff like this, but let's say that the guy claims on the 28th of every month. I'm going to make my Joe Rogan videos on the 29th. Now it has the 29th, 30th, 31st, if the month is 31st, whatever, to make money. YouTube pays out on the 21st. I'm still going to make that money, and then he's going to claim it after it makes the money. Okay? So that's like, you can think about that, but let's say that the AI is hitting your content. Now, you can go in, you can try different things. You can try to add more commentary, try to cut certain parts out so it's not as much of the content being used in one big chunk, and try to like split it up. There's little things that I'll do, like I'll just throw in some like and subscribe stuff, you know, and just try to break up the content as much as I can. But I also have this thing, and I'm not going to give it away in this video, but you can go find some stuff that might work as well. But I have this filter that I put on my videos, and it literally stops the copyright every single time from the AI. Like I'll literally put this filter and I put it in my course, and people inside of my program can just download it and use it. You just download the filter, you put it over the video, and then you lower the opacity, and it literally just stops the copyright AI every single time, like without fail. So that's another way you can do it, but just learn your niche, learn who is likely to copyright your content and who is not. Like for me, I told you that you know, the way they get around the Joe Rogan stuff, I just don't even mess with the Joe Rogan videos anymore because it's too much of a headache. The Bill Maher stuff is really easy because if I can't get around it, then I'll just put the filter on it. And so it's really easy. You know, if it's the AI hitting me, I can get around the AI. The manual claims is what gives me the biggest headache. So understand your niche, learn who gives you the biggest headaches, and just stay away from those people. You know, if people are manually claiming your videos, probably just stay away, man. Like it's probably just not worth it, you know? So commentary number 1, content selection number 2, and then last resort would be the filter. And maybe I'll give this away at some point. Maybe I'll get this away for free at some point. Probably not though, because I don't want that to be like everywhere. I don't want everybody to have it. I want to keep it as secret as possible because I don't want YouTube catching on, because it really does work every single time, you know? And it's so much easier than having to go back in and try and like break up the content, you know, as many times as I can without taking out too much of the content, so people don't complain too much that, you know, there's parts taken out and now it's not sequential enough and all this stuff. I just put a filter over the video and it makes it monetizable. It's amazing, and I just can't give it away for free. I'm sorry. So we talked about how the content has to be transformative. Very vague term, very subjective term, unfortunately. The best way to do it is by adding commentary. Now let's talk a little bit more about the commentary. I know some of you probably heard me say add commentary and you're like, well, a lot of you probably clicked off because you're like, I'm not gonna appear on camera. I don't want to appear on the microphone. I want to be completely anonymous. If you do want to be completely anonymous, this still works. I have channels, and I have a ton of students who have channels that use AI for their commentary. It's so easy nowadays, guys. Like, you use ChatGPT, generate you a little commentary script, copy and paste the commentary script into 11 Labs or some automated AI voiceover software. It spits you out a voiceover commentary, you splice it together with the video, boom, you're not copyrighted anymore. Like, guys, it's like, it's a little bit extra work in my opinion. I would just do the commentary yourself unless you have a really bad accent. And then if you have a really bad accent, then do the AI stuff. But it's really not that difficult, guys. Like, even if you want to stay anonymous, just use AI for it. Talked about content selection. Probably like the biggest headache and time saver is just understanding your niche, understanding the people that you can and can't take content from without it being a massive headache, and just avoid the people that give you a headache. You know, simple as that. Last resort, if you can't do anything to edit the video, if you can't add more commentary on there, you're still getting copyrighted by the AI, use the filter inside of my course, or go find your own filter. You might have to do a lot of trial and error. It took me a while to find this filter that works every single time, so I don't know how hard or easy that's gonna be, but use some sort of filter, put it over the video, lower the opacity. People might complain about it. Who gives a shit? You know, like who gives a shit if they complain about it? It's free engagement. You know, I've had multiple videos go mega viral with filters on top of them. You know, it's not that big of a deal. So that's copyright, okay? That's like a very summarized version of how I avoid the copyright stuff. Like I said, it's hard if I'm not there to hold your hand through it and specifically look at your YouTube videos and tell you exactly what you need to do, because I could do that, but I can't do that for each individual person on a YouTube video, right? Now let's talk about the reuse content thing, because the reuse content thing is completely different from the copyright thing. Reuse content, the system is completely broken on the YouTube platform, okay? I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. The reuse content system is absolutely broken, and it's been broken for the longest time since I started on YouTube and I started learning and really being good at it. The reuse content thing has been a bitch the entire time, okay? Luckily now, they've implemented an appeal system for every single person who gets hit with reuse content. Back in the day, 2-3 years ago, if you got hit with reuse content, you were just screwed. There was no appeal process and the system was broken. So many people were getting hit with reuse content that were not even reusing any content, right? I've actually been hit with reuse content one time in the last year, but a lot of my clients will get hit with reuse content. So I had to figure out a way to get around it. And we actually have like an ironclad appeal script. This appeal script has never lost an appeal. What we did, and I'm not gonna give the appeal script away for free. I'm not gonna do it, but I'll tell you how I came up with the appeal script. So how we did it was, whenever you get hit with reuse content, YouTube's gonna send you this like list of acceptable content. So they'll send you a list and it'll just say, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. This type of content is acceptable, this type of content is not acceptable. And what we did to overcome and win this appeal is we looked at the content that was acceptable and unacceptable listed to us by YouTube, and we literally went through the list in our appeal video and we said, here is what we did. It's listed on the acceptable side. This is exactly what we do. We just used YouTube's own words. I don't want to say against them, because that sounds kind of bad, but like, we used YouTube's own words in the appeal script. What most people do is they'll just, you know, they'll show their video, you know, creation process and everything like that, which we did do as well. But in the beginning of the video, we say, hey, you list off this exact type of channel, this exact thing that we're doing, you list this off as acceptable content right here in this bullet pointed list. And here's why we fit into this criteria. And we literally used their words against them to get around this reuse content stuff. So if you ever get hit with reuse content on YouTube, look at what they send you. And if you're not reusing content, if you fall under the acceptable content, which if you use my strategies, you fall under the acceptable content, okay? Use their own words, not against them, but like use their own words in the appeal. Because if they're watching your video and they're like, well, I mean, we did say this is acceptable. What are we gonna do? We can't just, you know, have this guy literally explain exactly why his content is under the acceptable side of things and then not accept his appeal. That doesn't make any sense. You know, so the appeal person that's watching it, the reviewer is gonna be like, oh, like we literally are telling him right here in the email that we sent him that his content is being demonetized for reused content, that his type of content is acceptable. Hopefully this is making sense to you. Just look at what they send you, use their own words against them, and also like obviously explain how you make your content. That's very valuable as well. The person, so this is one of my channels that got hit with it, where I have somebody else doing the commentary. What I had them do was I had them do the appeal, obviously, because I want their voice on it. And I just had him go through his entire editing process, his video selection process. We showed our Telegram chats. We showed notes that he was taking, physical notes that he would take while he's reacting to the video so he can keep track of certain things. We showed his notes in the video. We showed the editing process, and then we showed the finished product in the editing software, and then we compared it to the finished product that's on the actual YouTube channel. You know, if you're an appeal or if you're an appeal reviewer and you're looking at it and you're like, there's no way this person went through enough trouble to completely like re-edit this video for this appeal. Do you know what I'm saying? So like we're showing the editing software and the video matches up in the editing software exactly to the video that's on YouTube. So it's just so much overwhelming evidence because there's no way somebody's going through all the trouble to re-edit the entire video exactly how it is, right? You know, as the video on YouTube. So it's just overwhelming evidence. We're using their own words against them. We're showing them every single piece of evidence that we possibly can that this is not reused content, that it's good content, right? So do all of those things, or you know, you can just join my coaching program and I can just give you the appeal script. I can give you the filter. I can give you all of this stuff. I can hold your hand through the entire process. If you want to just skip the line and instead of it taking a couple years or 3 years for you to figure all this stuff out, you can just figure it out in 3 months. If you are interested in joining the coaching program, go ahead and book a call with the link in the description and possibly the pinned comment. I look forward to talking with you on that call, or if not, I look forward to seeing you on the next YouTube video. Peace.